The holiday season has arrived, and you know what that means. Crippling anxiety! I'm just kidding. Sort of. I am getting kind of hot, though. For many people, including myself, this time of year is especially busy. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by the ever-increasing tasks on your to-do lists, this video is for you. My name's Sarah, and on this channel I talk about self-improvement and mental health and wellness. Many of the topics I discuss, including this one, can help most people, including you, improve the quality of their lives. I've been in remission from BPD for 2 years, which I also have videos on, and my recovery has required much more than therapy. I put out new videos weekly, so if any of that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them. Today I'm talking about productivity. While to-do lists can help you, they can also work against you, maybe without you even realizing it. We're much quicker to blame our inadequate productivity on ourselves than our lists. In this video, I'll talk about the problems with our usual to-do lists and how to make them more effective. And I'll also discuss a whole new way of looking at productivity that can increase motivation, help you achieve more, and make you feel more successful. So, what's wrong with to-do lists? I hate having to say words with the tss at the end, and I'm going to have to say lists 100 times in this video, so just know that that's bothering me every time I say it. So what's wrong with to-do lists? Let's run through the usual process. You sit down and you come up with a list of everything you want to do in a day. You have to vacuum, water the plants, study, stretch, play with your cat, buy a new humidifier since yours broke and now you're getting random nosebleeds because the air in your apartment is so dry during the winter. Side note, if anyone has any humidifier recommendations, please let me know. I'm looking for one that loads from the top and is easy to clean. I got one yesterday that fit that description, and then it leaked a gallon of water on my carpet overnight. So now I have to take that back. Add it to the list. This is often how our to-do lists look. I have ADHD. Surprise! And lists have always been important for keeping me on track at all. But the big problem with this type of list is that it's overwhelming. Looking at so many tasks for a day can lead to anxiety about not getting everything done, or about not knowing where to start or how to approach the list. This often decreases productivity by leading to procrastination and guilt. The less capable we feel, the less capable we actually are. There are methods to make these lists more effective through prioritization or time blocking, but those can be time-consuming and require a bit of effort, especially when you're first learning them. We can experiment with those down the road, but for now, I want to simplify the process. To do that, I first recommend boiling down your list into just 3 essential things that you want to focus on for a day. That doesn't mean you can't do more in that day, and I know it can feel good to have extra items on your list to cross off if you're going to do them anyway, but I have a solution for that later on in the video. For now, just stick to 3 essential tasks. Tasks, it's another one of those words. Reducing the number of items on your list should automatically reduce some anxiety. But if you're anything like me, you may still get distracted throughout the day thinking of a bunch of other things you want to get done, especially once you start getting the ball rolling. But resist the urge to add to your list. This is where something called brain dumping comes in handy. Brain dumping is when you get all those other tasks out of your head and into their own list so you can focus on the task at hand. It's a way of clearing mental storage. It doesn't necessarily have to be a list of just tasks either. It can include whatever other thoughts, questions, or ideas are distracting you. I find it most helpful to have my daily to-do list physically written down, and I keep my brain dumping in my phone since I do that as things come up and I usually have my phone on me. Then when I think of something, I can type it in my phone real quick and put it away. You can always revisit your brain dumping list once you've finished your big 3 if you want to. But what about other distractions? Being productive does feel good, but we all have comfort activities that our brains would rather we spent our time on for the sake of instant gratification. These can keep you from finishing your 3 tasks completely, or they can make them take longer because you keep having to make the decision between continuing what you're doing or getting sucked in by TikTok. Being tempted by your comfort activities can also decrease the effort that you put into your tasks, or it can keep you from doing anything productive outside of them. To avoid this, some people find it helpful to make a not to-do list. You don't have to decide to never play video games again. But if you know that video games would interfere too much with what you really want to get done on a certain day, you can put them on your not to-do list. Or you can give yourself restrictions, like no video games after 6 o'clock. These aren't punishments. They're guidelines you're setting for yourself. They're rules you're putting into place so you don't have to constantly choose whether you're going to do that thing you set out to do or you're going to do that thing you decided was not worth your time that day. And that's absolutely not to say you shouldn't take breaks. I don't support toxic productivity, but some activities can be slippery slopes, and there are often more revitalizing ways to rest than some of our typical comfort activities, but that's all totally your call. I don't always set restrictions for myself anymore, but if I feel like I'm getting too far off track and not doing enough of the things I truly want to do, I'll delete Instagram or put my phone on airplane mode or set any other rules that can help me correct course. The important thing is finding whatever works best for you. So, now you know what you want to do and you know what you don't want to do, but what if you still struggle to get things done or you just don't feel productive enough? A fundamental problem of our to-do lists is that we often use them as a measure of our accomplishments. If we don't finish them, we've failed. The satisfaction of crossing something off the list is fleeting if there are still more items on the list. And even if you finish the list, you look at the 3 important things you did that day, and that's it. So I'm going to introduce a whole new way of evaluating our accomplishments that I got from Dr. Rachel Goldsmith-Turo's book, The Self-Talk Workout. I've mentioned this book before, and I'll put the link in this video's description because I do highly recommend it. In the second chapter, Dr. Turo discusses a concept she calls Spot the Success, where we learn to focus more on the full range of our accomplishments. Humans are more naturally inclined to focus on what still needs to be done than what has already been done. We resist giving ourselves credit for accomplishments we don't consider to be important or significant enough. People tend to think that this is necessary for productivity, but it can decrease motivation and limit productivity instead. Think about the recognition and appreciation you want for things you do in a relationship. Imagine you made your partner lunch and they looked at the meal and said, "Well, what's for dinner?" Or if you made your partner dinner and they looked at it and said, "You didn't make me lunch," how much would that encourage you to cook anything at all? Just like you'd benefit from your partner acknowledging what you have done, even if there are things you haven't done or things that you still need to do, you'd benefit from acknowledging all the things you do for yourself in a day. This is spotting the success. Ideally, you want to get to a point where you can spot the success mentally throughout your day as you accomplish things. But since reframing our thought patterns is easier said than done, Dr. Turo suggests writing done lists while you're first getting used to this idea. With these, you get to skip right to the crossing off part of a to-do list. The best part! To make a done list, you should write 10 actions that you completed in a day to benefit yourself, someone else, or the world around you. That's easy enough, right? If you finished your to-do list, you already have 3 things right there. Most people can quickly get through about half of this list, but then they start to struggle getting to the full 10. Going back to relationships, you don't just want to be seen for the most significant things you do. You want the small things to matter too. It's also important that you give yourself credit for even the small things in Spot the Success. To really jumpstart Spot the Success, or just on days where I feel especially unproductive and lacking in motivation, I like to work on a comprehensive done list. I'll write down everything I do in a day as I do them. Well, every few tasks, I'll go back and write everything I've done since the last time I wrote. On the surface, I end up with the silliest list. It includes the most basic things, even things that I do every day. I woke up at 7. I took my medicine. I flossed and brushed my teeth. I washed my face. I fed Lolita. I did a face mask. I made my bed. It seems silly, but I swear it's far more conducive to productivity than my normal to-do lists. Acknowledging and feeling good about every little thing I'm doing just makes me want to do more things that I can acknowledge and feel good about. Please let me know how it goes if you end up trying that. I'm really curious if the comprehensive done list has such an instantly positive effect on you too. I'd love to hear if you found any of these suggestions helpful. I plan on talking more about productivity and motivation in future videos because there's so much to explore within these topics. And again, there's a link for the self-talk workout in this description if you want to read more about Spot the Success or Dr. Turo's other strategies for improving your self-talk. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and you can add that to your done list. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.